Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and other third-party candidates in the 2024 presidential election and how ballot access in states across the country can significantly hurt their campaign. So RFK Jr. was in the news, yesterday, 2 days ago. He is officially on the ballot in Utah. He has qualified to be on the ballot. This comes after he actually had to sue the Secretary of State because they were ruled to be unfairly cutting back their deadline for candidates, to submit their signatures to be on the ballot. Whatever, long story. But the court sided with RFK Jr. and third-party candidates can now have more time to submit their signatures. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did just that, and Utah becomes the first state which he is on the ballot in. Only 4 candidates, third-party candidates, I should say, right now are officially on ballots. Only significantly, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., his first state being Utah, and Cornel West, his first state being Alaska. So these will grow. Obviously, I would hope, these list of states that Cornel West and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., 2 independent presidential candidates, their ballot access, that should grow. However, it will definitely be a struggle. This article, this article, not the best source for what I'm talking about here, but this does come from a Syracuse, New York news article, and it really just outlines how this is just specific to New York Secretary of State office, but this really goes for many, many states. This just outlines how difficult third-party candidates being on the ballot in presidential elections has become in recent years. I mean, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Is really one of his main focus points in his campaign is this really discrimination in the electoral system, this unfair discrimination in the electoral system against third-party candidates, and that is a main focus that he is aiming to reverse, because, I mean, why do I keep coming to this? I'm getting to that. But a state like New York, they just removed a number of third-party candidates here. Since 2020, the number of third parties that can appear on the ballot has dropped from 6 to 2. 2, effectively eliminating the Green, Libertarian, and Independence parties from the ballots. So, I mean, the fact that just the fact that they can decide how many third-party candidates can appear on the ballot, even despite how many signatures they get or whatever, is just undemocratic. And there are many pointing this out, like RFK Jr. He is really pointing at that as a main focus of his campaign to reverse, because it really is unfair. When you look at it, and it is going to be a struggle. It's a struggle for many congressional, Senate, gubernatorial candidates across the country, but also now we're seeing presidential contenders, because someone like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is polling more than anyone could have expected. Real Clear Politics, their average has him at 15%. That is just under the famous, stunning amount that Ross Perot was able to garner in 1992. But that is just when, in a poll, in a general election poll, if the election was held tomorrow, who would you vote for, Trump, Biden, or Kennedy? That's what the pollsters say to the people being polled. That is with Kennedy at 15. Well, what if they go to the polls on election day and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not an option on the ballot? Obviously, his vote total is going to decrease dramatically, versus if he was on the ballot. I mean, this, I shouldn't have to explain this. If he's on the ballot, he's going to do much better. I mean, no one is going to write in his name. There's not going to be a significant amount of write-in votes for RFK Jr. Not enough to have any impact in states, probably, unless it's extremely close, like in swing states. So getting on the ballot is absolutely critical for these third parties. And, as I was saying, even though he's at 15 nationwide, and looking at the Trump, Biden, Kennedy, West, Jill Stein race, we've got Kennedy at 13, Cornel West at 2. Jill Stein is going to be on the ballot in 48 states, so we don't need to talk about her. But that's 15 combined for RFK Jr. and Cornel West. But, this goes for Cornel West too. Even though they're polling so high, it's going to be so much more difficult if he's not on the ballot. In every state. This poll is as if Cornel West and RFK Jr. are on the ballot in every state. But that will be a struggle. I mean, New York alone, I'm pretty sure it's almost impossible for RFK Jr., especially Cornel West, to get on the ballot here in New York. And this goes for so many other states. I mean, Utah, this was pointed out on social media about the state of the RFK Jr. campaign. But Utah, it was 1,000 signatures and like $600 or something to get on the ballot. He had to sue the Secretary of State for extended time just because of a measly 1,000 signatures, which is nothing. In California, you need hundreds of thousands. In New York, you need hundreds of thousands. So Utah is one of the easiest states to get on. Cornel West is in Alaska. That's only because the quote-unquote Aurora Party, which is already on the ballot in Alaska, nominated him or endorsed him or something like that. So he's on the ballot in Alaska. But there are only a handful of states where it's extremely easy to get on the ballot. Alaska is one of them. Utah is one of them. Connecticut is one of them. Connecticut is pretty easy. I just know that because I live here. It's pretty easy. But it's all these, Montana is an easy one. It really just rural states that are, obviously, since they're rural, very right-leaning, that Kennedy doesn't even really have a shot to win. Maine, he can get on it. That one he could actually win, though. But when you look at the path to victory, for someone like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., if he were to get 270 electoral votes, it becomes a question of, can he even get on the ballot in enough states where if he won all of them, it would be over 270 electoral votes? And probably not, because the states with the hardest ballots to get on, California, New York, Florida, so difficult, Texas, it's all the biggest states. So the question becomes, how much of an impact can people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. even have in this election if right now tomorrow is New Year's Eve. In 2 days, it's 2024. Deadlines are approaching so fast. How much time is there for Kennedy or Cornel West or any other third party or independent to get on the ballot in enough states to have a big impact on this election? Time is running out, and we thought Kennedy would have so much of an impact on this election. I'm finally bringing this up. I just want to show this because it's really funny, and it shows you how much how big Kennedy fans there are in this country. He set up an auction with auction items to fundraise for his end of year fundraising or whatever. Look at these things people are buying. A virtual baking lesson with his wife, Cheryl Hines, The bid is currently at $775, or the buy now price at $4,500. You might just want to go for that. A hike with RFK Jr. Someone has bid $4,500. I was honestly going to buy this, but I think it sold. But I really wanted it. 8 people purchased this poster for $400. A limited edition rash guard. The bid is at $450. I mean, people just absolutely look at all these sold items. Hike with RFK Jr. $6,600. It's just incredible. The amount of support that Kennedy has been able to get in this race. A lot of people like him. He is winning among voters under 45. He is winning among independents. Independents, America's largest voter bloc in swing states, in like 7 swing states. But it's, how much does that even matter when we come to election day? So I'm very interested to see. It boils down to the question of, of a wait and see game. Where can Kennedy and Cornel West, because he is equally important, his 2% could destroy the Biden campaign. Where can they get on the ballot? If we're looking at Kennedy on the ballot in over 25 states, which honestly at this point I probably doubt. It was looking more like 40 states, when he first announced, but now with time running out, I don't even know if he could get to half of the 50 states. If we're looking at 25 states or over, saying, okay, Kennedy will have a major, major impact. Anything less, it's, will Kennedy even be remembered in the history books? Can he get over 8-9% of the popular vote? He might not at this point. So, this electoral system is really set up to disenfranchise third-party candidates. It will be interesting to see how Kennedy and Cornel West could overcome that if they do. That is why, to finish off, this is why Kennedy was looking into running as a libertarian before he announced as an independent, because they already have ballot access. That's why I think I made a whole video about, no, I didn't, but I've definitely talked about how I was shocked that Cornel West left the Green Party primary, because he was guaranteed that Green Party nomination, and they are already on the ballot in 48 states. And now Cornel West is only on the ballot in Alaska. Now he has to spend millions and millions and millions to get on the ballot in the rest of the states. So it makes sense to already run with a established third party that has ballot access. Basically, the Libertarians and the Green Party. Those are the only 2 third parties that have basically complete ballot access. So again, I'm very interested to see how this goes, and ballot access can play a huge part in this presidential campaign, which we don't usually talk about or see a lot. But thank you all for watching this video. I'll let you all know what happens, whatever. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.